Good morning, and that was Martin Solveig with Do It Right featuring TK Meidzer, and you are now listening to the Sports Desk on SYN 90.7 FM. Big weekend of sport coming up, big week of sport gone, and first we're going to start off with some AFL.
Should we introduce ourselves first,
We
Lucy?
probably should, yeah. You are here with the Dream Team, the Friday Dream Team. Lucy.
Ben.
Dan.
Sam.
Oh, this is the anticipation. Well, at least you
Yeah.
remembered your name this time. We've come so far from the start of the season.
I know.
No, I said yo.
Yo.
I was already
Oh,
stuffed
that's
up.
right.
Yo.
Oh,
Yo.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that Benno was just going to say my name. Like, it was just, and then I was ready to say yo afterwards, and it just
No.
really did not work. But it's a big round of footy coming up, isn't it, Benno?
Oh, we've got a couple of big games, most notably 7. They've chosen the big one for this week. Freo versus Bulldogs.
Is that on 7?
Yeah, on Saturday night instead of
That gets the
Instead of the
arse.
showdown. No one watches
Who
the
cares
showdown
about the
anyway.
Showdown, like, you
Oh,
know.
it's
Question,
only
what's
one
your
feature.
showdown?
Showdown is Adelaide
Port.
Port, and
And-
they're currently
Oh.
first and second
First
on the
and
ladder.
Second on the ladder. Port have come out firing at the start of the season
Yeah,
with a
who
win
else watched
against
that?
the Swans, and who they beat last week?
I think they beat the pants off Freo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
was by, like,
that was a
a
very uneventful affair. That one.
Any team changes this week going into this one, fellas?
Well, Nick Rewell, they thought he'd done an ACL, and he's back after
Maybe
a
he
week.
did. And he
He's
just recovered
ripping
really
recovery.
quick.
He got a large surgery, the shortest large you ever see.
He's just got a
but
clone of
he's
himself.
back in the frame, huh?
He's just made a clone of himself. It's like, yeah, it'll be right.
Jack Rewell, I think, is playing for the Saints, actually. And for the Dockers, they have 6 outs, including Zach Dawson. How can they win without Zach Dawson? That is the question.
How do they win with Zach Dawson?
Yeah, that is
Well,
the
clearly they
real
haven't
question.
been.
And they've given a couple of guys their debut in Harley Ballick and Griffin Logue. Ballick has had averaging 31 disposals on the waffle so far this year. Looks like a potential Supercoach pick. I was licking my chops when he was selected. Where you Benno?
Well, I don't have him as a floating donut, so I'm not licking my chops.
I mean, like, to pick up in a couple of weeks, of course.
But so
Got
Port
to
Adelaide-
save my trades.
Port Adelaide's brought in Hamish Hartlett, and
Yeah, he
they've
was
dropped
laid out last
Honch. And
No,
Adelaide.
not dropped. He's
think
done
he's
the
injured.
knee.
Oh, he's done the knee, sorry. And Lever's in for Adelaide, and Josh Jenkins.
Huge out.
That's a big out. So,
It could.
how do we think that's going to affect Saturday?
I'm very loath to say that Port win because I know they beat Sydney. Don't jump on my back, but I'm just. How long can they just keep up? I mean, what's changed since last year? They were arguably one of the worst teams last year. Is this form, or is this what we're going to see from
The thing
Port?
is, they have these guys like Carl Amon, Jared Pollack, and even Harlett as well, who just perform when they win. But when they lose, they just look...
They look like they
nothing
don't deserve
it.
to be on the AFL list.
Exactly. That's right. And I mean, Robbie Gray kicked 6 last week, but he was poor the week before, and apparently has a bit of groin soreness, so that'll be interesting to see how he goes. But I'm tempted to say, I like to think that Adelaide are going to win, because otherwise this competition is pretty hard to predict.
Yeah.
But that's what we like, though. We like a bit of unevenness.
But if Adelaide doesn't win, then I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Because Adelaide are my early tip for the premiership. They look
after
good.
their first round against GWS, that was something special.
Electric.
Yeah.
And tonight we've got Sydney coming up against Collingwood at the SCG. Sydney just keep on blooding debutants. Jordan Dawson from Sturt gets a go. And Collingwood bring back Varco and Greenwood for Blair and Aish. Who's winning this one? You'd think Sydney, surely.
Surely.
Yeah. I think Collingwood haven't looked.
And
Collingwood
Lucy just gave a little nod there as
Yeah.
a Sydney supporter.
Sydney's going to win. Buddy's 250th game, so
Yeah, it
he's
is
going to
too.
turn it on, I think. Big occasion, as always. And if he could kick a goal like he did last week, then I think...
A couple of goals like he did.
Yeah.
That was spectacular.
He just turned it on. I thought Sydney were, going to steamroll home after that, but
I know.
then-
Well, it was because
How
of
about
that
the free kick
stupid
loose?
decision.
Oh, stupid.
It was
That's
not
subjective.
Yeah, well, the AFL came out and said that it shouldn't have been a free kick, and that's enough for me to say
But that was,
yeah.
to be fair, they did sort of have that sort of interpretation where if the person's 5 metres away, that's not pressure, even though if you turn
is,
around you could easily
yeah.
get tackled from Liam Pickett.
It is pressure.
It is
Yeah.
pressure.
I mean,
It's such a harsh penalty to
And
pay.
he didn't
isn't it?
and I think also the thing is that of course he jumped out and punched the ball through,
Mm.
and I think that's a good indication of that surely he was punching it through, but he didn't have the ball and he didn't look behind him and see that he had all of this
Yeah.
time and still do it or anything like that. You could talk about this forever, but I still think it was a silly decision, and if they didn't call that, Sydney would have won.
Playing devil's advocate for a second, though.
Yeah.
If you're punching it straight through without knowing what's going on, you've got no other intention but to just
Yeah,
belt the ball
exactly.
through,
And-
which is where the umpire is looking. What's their intention? Do
And
they have another option?
They did show the teams a tape of like, and that was pretty much ruled as a free kick. Like, but it's just because it was such a tense moment in
Yep.
the game,
Game.
and it's just such a huge penalty to pay. I mean, there was one in Adelaide, I think, where Talia punched it, but he was manned from like over 10 meters. Like it bounced up and he punched it through, and it was called deliberate.
And
It
then-
wasn't really contentious because Adelaide were up by 80 points, but like it was another sort of.
There was that one, I can't remember who it was,
one.
but they punched it and then it bounced up and then they punched it through again and it wasn't called because they were so
Yeah,
close.
because then
But if
they were
they'd punched
close.
it through
Yeah.
in one show, it would have been
It is
a
just,
deliberate.
it's all up to interpretation.
Yeah, it's one of
and
those
another-
rules that's like, it can be interpreted like so many different ways, but disappointing. But Buddy kicked those 2 amazing goals in a row, which I thought was going to win. But I think in his 250th game at home at the SCG, could be into something special.
Yeah, it could be kicking a couple from
Oh,
the centre square. I
I
reckon.
could easily see a bag of 5 or 6 tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
Collingwood have looked all right, but I just think Sydney have a lot to prove now. I mean, they're sitting 0-2.
0-2, but you have to remember, last time we were 0-2, we made the grand final. Like, there's 3 times we were 0-2, we've made the grand final. 2005, 2012,
How
and
many did you win, Liz?
2014. We won 2 of those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Actually.
That
Yeah.
actually, she's got you there.
No, because I thought there's been stats coming out that's like only 2 teams in the last 20 years have won.
No, I think it
Like-
was the last 50 teams to finish to start
Was it?
0-2. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoopsie, Dan.
That shut me up. Well, also, there's big news during the week. Gary Ablett, his
People need
you
to
know,
get off his back.
his demeanour,
seriously.
his
Leave him
demeanour in the
alone.
game
Yeah, I
last
know.
weekend was nothing short of
He
poor.
can't really win though,
But-
can he?
yeah,
Because when he didn't play when he was injured, we all criticised him for not playing. And
Yeah, for
now that
not-
he's playing when he's injured,
Or that's the thing. Is he injured? It's
Or
there
did
are
you-
some off.
or does he
field
just not
issues.
care? Sort of.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I
How
can't-
long
I can't
has he
really
been
blame him.
playing?
Oh,
pretty
he's
old.
33 now.
Yeah.
So, but he's still a gun. Like, and
Yeah.
I think he doesn't really like being taken out of that midfield. I mean, it's Gary Ablett. He's been used to being the big guy
Yeah.
for the last 10 years plus.
Mm.
So. It's a mixture of things. He's had some off-field issues that he doesn't want to comment on, which is absolutely fair
Of course,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? He said he might on the Footy Show last night that he might not be playing next year. What are your thoughts there, Benno?
The
Do you
thing
reckon he's
is,
gonna play?
I mean, he's arguably I would say he's the best player of the modern era. Like, I just want to put that up top.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit harsh to be criticising a 33-year-old that he went to Gold Coast because he thought that they were going to build a good team, and they had the players. But due to whatever it is, I mean, I don't try to speculate too much, but coaching issues, culture,
Off-field issues,
yeah,
culture
yeah.
issues.
culture
yeah.
issues, they just haven't materialised in the way that GWS does. I mean,
Yeah.
we can sit here and talk about all day, should they have recruited Ablett, should they not have?
Should they recruit Nathan Bach,
Yeah.
Jared Brennan?
Well, those I'm happy to say no, they should not have. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, and we said this at the time that both clubs have taken a very different approach to recruiting, and I would argue that a lot of us thought that the Gold Coast method would work out because GWS pulled in Ward, they pulled in Scully, they pulled in Davis, who have now all gone on to be pretty bloody good.
Yeah. But I mean, like, at the moment, can you blame him for his attitude he has? Because maybe the best player of the modern era, would you want to be playing at Gold Coast?
No, I
Straight
don't
up,
think
would you
anyone
want
wants
to?
to be playing at Gold
I don't think
Coast.
anyone, let
But
alone...
he's on that sort of money, so like, the argument is, suck it up, mate.
Because Gold Coast, it was like when it was Gold Coast GW started, I always remember the conversation was, it's going to be Gold Coast over GWS.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
GWS had like
They just had
really,
no
really
ones.
old blokes, but they had a host of young guys, and they got absolutely thumped every week, and now they're absolutely thumping.
Oh,
They
there.
thumped Gold Coast last week. It's just
And I think the fact that they beat him by, 100 points just sums up how badly it's gone for the Gold Coast. They set up Mark Evans, didn't they?
they did indeed.
Either this week or last week, just to kind of sort things out.
And it's not really working too well. They're currently sitting on 17th place. On the
What does
ladder.
this say about Eid as well? Does that look like his...
I think that Carlton Gold Coast game in round 4 is going to be a big one.
Yep.
Like
Oh, yeah.
that's
That
gonna,
could
that's going to
spell the
decide
end.
his future. It could, decide that could be their season done.
But the problem is, who comes in to replace him? This is
So, well, Stewie Dew's been on the radar the last like 4. Yeah,
Yeah. He's been a
Star of the
assistant coach at
2008
how many
grand
places?
final.
huge.
Yeah, I reckon. I mean, I think the best thing actually for Gold Coast would be someone that is young, who is able to have patience and who has little expectations on them. I mean, I still feel like Gold Coast has a lot of pressure to get up to scratch quicker rather than later, but at this rate, they're going to have to be playing blokes like Bowes, Ainsworth every week.
Brody, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's time to take it back to ground zero and rebuild, because otherwise they're just going to flounder for the next 10, 15 years at this rate.
Yeah, look, it's not very positive, and I have a feeling my Tigers are going to be brought back to earth this weekend against West Coast at the MCG.
Surely with Dustin Martin wearing that helmet, he'll scare enough of the players away that he will have just get the ball all the time
I reckon his
uncontested.
black eye would scare a few people as
Yeah.
well. I mean,
I reckon his haircut would scare a few people.
oh, come on. Don't stoop down to... Oh, by the way, yeah, Carlton's PR. So, did you hear about their PR doing the banners?
Just so
Have you
everyone knows, you
Lucy's
cannot
not
see this on
affiliated.
air. Dan just pointed at me while he said that.
An
It's not
attack
my
because you are
fault.
part of the Collingwood Carlton family, of course.
Okay, yeah, what's happened?
Their PR...
There's a bit of like sting journalism
That-
going on here, haven't you?
God.
Um,
Dan
sure-
has set this
I'm not
up.
really sure,
They've actually
yeah.
come out with a couple of banners, but they've hired a PR team to do them, and they have been absolutely shocking. I can't get them up at the minute, but
I don't think
they-
we want to get them up at the
Yeah,
minute
they
because
have
they're
been-
What
pretty
was
bad.
one? What was one?
there was one that had a dig at Dusty's haircut where it just didn't rhyme. Surely you've seen this.
Oh,
I've
I've seen that one, and
Yeah.
I remember even I was like,
It was
ooh,
cringy
ooh,
as
ooh,
like, and also
yeah.
like Dusty ended up having 33 touches and 4 goals that night. So I mean,
Yeah,
like it didn't
whoopsie.
really work. They're trying to replicate the Bulldogs
The
banner,
Bulldogs.
and it just
You can't have you can't have PR people doing it. You have
Yeah.
a comedian doing
Yeah.
it, like
And, you know,
Western Bulldogs
yeah,
do.
we have
Us
a
PR
PR
people-
member here.
Us PR people aren't funny. We might be
Not at
creative,
all.
I mean,
but
surely,
we aren't funny.
surely there's comedians that go for Carlton. I mean, they are that
Yeah,
age
oh,
where they
David
remember.
Hughes, God,
Dave
yeah.
Good on you, blokes. Get out there and have a win.
That's
And
I'd
another
say
dude
that's
does as
probably the
well.
only thing that's worse than the PR banners is Dave Hughes doing a banner.
So they have that
These-
Sam guy. He goes to
Sam.
Carlton.
Sam Pang,
Oh,
yeah,
Sam
he's
Pang.
good. on
He'd be
the-
good.
Yeah.
I think the Friday front bar.
Tegan
or Thursday.
Tegan Higginbottom.
Yeah,
She
she's
chose-
good, she's good.
She goes to
Right there.
Carlton.
Either
All
way,
the
don't get
options,
me to
then
do
go
them.
with
Just
the
don't get
PR
just
person.
just don't get PR people to do your batters because
I wonder what the Essendon one will be this weekend, Ben.
Let's win. Come on, guys.
That's shocking. There's a journalism student.
You've put me on the spot, yeah.
Very
that'll be
true,
better than the
very
Brisbane one, which will just be all us 7 members holding it up with a big advertising thing on one side
Just
and
before we
go
go to
Brisbane
and
on
just
the
before
other
we,
side.
Before we go to the song as well, Benno just got the chocolates in the battle of the studio box here.
Battles,
with,
yeah.
Brisbane versus Brisbane Sam's team
Oh,
versus Essendon Benno's team.
well, it's just good that future Coleman medalist Orazio Fantasia kicked 5. That's all I'll say.
Another thing as well. Sorry, he's nicknamed himself Razzle Dazzle. Surely that's
He
a big,
hasn't. He's
that's a big,
himself.
that's a big
fine.
turn it up moment.
That's a
I
fine.
reckon.
Maybe he's just a fan of Dizzy Rascal.
It is
Yeah.
a fine. I reckon.
Some people
That's
think
fine.
I'm bonkers.
But I just think I'm free.
Surely we can play bonkers up now.
Yeah, can we play
Get
the
it
Dizzy
up.
Rascal?
We don't have it on here.
Nah, surely we do.
Nah. We're going to go into another song now. This is
It's not
Barrow with
bonkers.
what... No, it's not, Dan.
It's
We-
not
this,
bonkers.
Just as good.
this is just as good, if not better. This is Barrow with What Do You Believe In? And you're listening to Sin, the Sports Desk on Sin 90.7 FM.
Alex Skepta.
And welcome back to the Sports Desk on Sin 90.7. That was Barrow with What Do You Believe In? And we've just spoken AFL, but the boys want to mention another little AFL tidbit. And what is it, Dan?
Oh, it's just that I'm going to be taking the month off work in May and uni because AFL Evolution has a release date, May 5. The new AFL game. We've waited 4 years since AFL Live 2 for another dodgy, pretty shocking sort of game.
I think we've waited about 10 years for a halfway decent
Oh,
AFL game.
we've waited 50 years for it, mate.
The AFL Live series was okay.
It was, but this is going to be hopefully okay. At least they look like the players.
The Bond looks like
they've
the Bond.
Yeah.
Except Tom Lynch has black hair, which is a bit questionable. Anyway, we'll jump into the A-League now
A-League.
with Samuel, our
Who
resident
have
expert.
been known to have good AFL. I mean,
Good
right,
games.
good games. Yeah. FIFA's
Well,
known
they
to be
get-
pretty
it's-
good.
They just
Yeah.
get put on the back of FIFA, don't
Yeah.
they?
FIFA.
A-League?
We'll
Yeah.
say FIFA,
Yeah.
not a bad game.
Yeah, and
A-League, nah.
there was some stat apparently that EA put as much money into their their starting menus as the AFL Live 2 game did to their whole game. So
And the
there you
starting
go.
menus in FIFA really show it. They're,
Yeah.
they're good. They look great.
It
But
says more about the AFL
That's
game.
incredible. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Well, there you go, mate.
How much
Let's
money
press
are
on
you
to
putting
another-
into
let's press on
menus?
to another video-based talking.
Oh,
segue.
Love it.
This week,
Ka-chow.
this week, the A-League are going to be the first league in the world to have video-assisted referees. Who would have thought that the A-League would be a game changer, game leader in football?
Score
But
review.
yeah, it's literally
So what,
There's
does
gonna
it,
be
so what does it mean?
boos.
So it's
It's
a
a
video
literal, like-
assistant referee.
yeah. So pretty much,
But-
it works like the NRL bunker, where there's a bloke in a room. He's kind of just watching the game, and if he sees,
Just relaxing.
he's just chilling. And if he see,
Popcorn.
yeah, you know, a couple of
Got a
drinks.
good view.
Couple of beers.
couple of frothies, maybe a cordial. But anyway, so he's watching the game, and if he sees something that he believes is being called incorrectly, or if the on-field referee sees something that they're not quite sure about, they can call him, and he can kind of have a look at it. And it's meant to work pretty instantaneously. I think it's meant to work quicker than a score review in the AFL, but it kind
You'd
of
hope so.
yeah, you'd hope so.
It'll be a
But
bit
like,
wild.
so it pretty much works for 4 indiscretions during the match. So if there's a goal decision, a penalty decision, a direct red card, or a mistaken identity
So a
decision.
penalty decision. So like, if someone's tackled and it isn't actually like a good tackle, like it isn't like an unfair tackle, could
Yeah.
it be overruled?
Yeah, that's pretty much the
That's
point.
pretty-
That's
that's
the
huge.
it's pretty big, but so
That
the
is huge.
the incident has to happen first, and then the referee so if say for a penalty decision, the referee actually has to say no, that's not a penalty, or yeah, it is, and then the video referee can actually go up to him and say no,
Ah.
you need to change
But
it.
like the video referee
there's
has to
no-
run out from the box and say, "Excuse me, mate."
Yeah, excuse me, mate. Yeah, no.
But, like, is he- he'd be
he's got
connected to
a
a
headset.
headset,
Yeah.
yeah.
So pretty much what happens is during the game, if something happened, one of those 4 incidents happens, and the referee the referee can either call them or the video referee can intervene, and they do that all by headset.
Question.
Yep.
If the video referee is there,
Yeah.
they can't stop play, can they?
No, I think what happens is.
So if there's like a call for someone goes down the box, but it
Yeah.
says play on, there's
Yeah.
no
They can't do it.
explicit call for yes or no.
I think what'll
video
happen. I think what'll happen is that. If the video referee sees that it's obviously that they obviously want to have a look at, they'll probably talk to the ref,
Yeah.
and the ref will just be like, "Hold on, just hold play for a second."
Yeah.
It's not meant to be. I'm not sure how it's going to work. No one's actually really sure how it's going to work
Work,
because
That is
Which is the big thing. I
Which is the
I
big
have a
thing, yeah.
feeling there could be a bit of indecision
I think
there.
it'll
Someone
be-
calling something and everyone's just like, "What is going on?"
But
Like,
I mean,
that could
I
be-
think it's going to be very much like DRS when DRS first came in the cricket. That people aren't really sure how it's going to work. People will take a bit of warming to it because it's been used in A-League games offline, so as in like to test the systems, and then it's been used online. But for very small matches, as in like I think Bulleen, like kind of like NPL under 18
Yeah.
matches,
Yeah.
it's been used for. So, it
So,
hasn't,
so it's not like they're just chucking in a thing.
no. So it's been used a lot
Yeah.
before, but it hasn't been used for a big proper match. And this kind of goes on from like you're having extra linesmen on the pitch and that kind of thing. So I think that's a really good move. And it's good that the A-League are actually the ones that are trying to sort of like lead the way in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this week, Victory are playing Western Sydney, and Victory are coming off a pretty poor performance last week against Wellington. They lost 3-0.
And you were there, Samuel. How was that?
How was the crowd feeling?
Demoralising?
Was I there? I really wish I wasn't. But yeah, they got 17,000. So,
Not
That's
bad.
decent
When
for a
they-
Sunday arvo.
Sunday
5
arvo.
o'clock on a Sunday arvo when there were 2 footy games on. It's not too bad. But Western Sydney can still make the top 4. They probably won't, but they still can. Although the other teams in the top 4 haven't really been playing that well. So we'll see how about that. Victory have been struggling recently.
They've lost 3 games in a row, haven't they?
We 3 of their last 4 games, and
Not good.
in 3 of those, and all 3 of those defeats, we haven't scored, which is
That's really bad.
which is worrying for a front 4 that has Barisha,
Yeah.
Shoeisi, Rojas, and FBK.
Is it the
normally.
midfield that's struggling though?
I'm not really sure. It's defensively we haven't been great, and also this week we're losing Jason Guerrier and Alan Barrow, who are 2 of our starting back 4. So that's going to be a real big loss.
Who are you tipping for this one?
I'm gonna say, to be
Go on
honest
the
with
draw.
you, I'm not gonna.
Like usual.
I'm gonna go the draw, but I think
Oh.
I think Western Sydney might be in with it.
Bit
In
too
with
good.
a
In with a
bit,
huge chance.
yeah, in with a huge chance here. Victory, honestly, they can't really. Victory can't drop from second unless they get hammered by goal difference. And Brisbane will win their last 2 games. So Victory need to consider about
Brisbane
10.
Roar had that guy kick 3 goals in 8 minutes.
Yeah,
So
that
you
guy,
know,
Jamie McLaren. Yeah, it's
McLaren,
3
yeah.
goals in 8 minutes. He's in Socceroos contention now. He's been playing superbly this season.
Bobby
He,
McLaren, Sam. Bit of an F1 gag for everyone. listening.
thanks everyone for
Boo.
listening. But yeah, so he's now in Socceroos contention. He actually went to the top of the Golden Boot as well with that 3 goals in 8 minutes. And on the other Melbourne teams, Melbourne City, they're playing Adelaide tonight, and this is actually the game where the video referee is going to be first used.
I have a feeling there's going to be some sort of controversy surrounding it.
I think there will be. If not this game, the next game it's used, you can see it happening in the finals. Something like pretty important happening in the finals, being changed by a video referee. But City are playing Adelaide. City as well have been really struggling. They might miss out on a top 4 finish, would mean they would also miss out on the home final, which is pretty big for them after having done so well at the start of the season. But Adelaide are terrible. Adelaide are like the Gold Coast at the
Are
moment.
they?
Except that Adelaide won the premiership last year, so I'm not really sure what's going on
What
there.
has
Yeah,
happened?
what's
They've
happened?
fallen
I
off
don't,
the face of the
they've
earth.
just fallen apart completely, to be honest with you. And then they've had Asian Champions League as well, and that's just and when they were
Doesn't
already
help.
down and having to do all that.
How have
trouble,
they
just
been
really
going?
haven't.
Has there been another leg or another?
No, there hasn't been another match week yet, so I think I'm not sure when the next one's coming up, but it's coming up soon. But all the Australian teams, I haven't really been doing that well in the Asian Champions League, and City, they started off the season really well. Then their front 3 hasn't fired the same way that we were expecting them to, and they've kind of dropped off the pace quite badly, actually. And they haven't beaten a team in the top 6 in the current top 6 since January.
That's not a good start.
No, but Adelaide are not that good at all. Expect to see City get up 2-1, 2-0, 2-1 in this
I'm
one.
going to say 3-1.
3-1, Benno?
Yeah.
I
And
think Adelaide will score a goal.
Adelaide will score a goal
Might
because
snag one.
City are questionable defensively. But, I mean, that would mean that... Victory's probably going to finish second. Having a look at the table now. Brisbane 3rd and City 4th. Western Sydney are 5th and Perth Glory is 6th. So that the top 6 is pretty set. It's just kind of...
Where they finish.
It's going to be who's going to play who and where they're going to finish, yeah.
Who's your tip for the Premiers?
So, Sydney can't finish anywhere other than first now. So Victory will probably finish second. So what happens is, I believe I'm actually not quite sure of the A-League final system, but either way, Victory and Sydney have the first week off,
Yeah.
and I believe then that we have I forget because they changed it from changed systems, but either way, so Victory and Sydney will have the first week off. And it'll probably be a Victory Sydney grand final in Sydney.
Yeah.
And
the Cove.
That'll be
and-
good.
And Victory,
The big blue.
Victory haven't been. I think very good, Benno. You've been
Thanks.
listening.
I-
You've been listening.
I do know
you've
a
been
little
listening
bit
to
about
my-
A-League.
You've been listening to my rambling for like the last 10 weeks.
No, I actually do know a little bit about A-League.
But yeah, so Victory Sydney final in Sydney, probably going to at this moment.
You'd
you're
have
just
to
saying
give it Sydney.
Yeah, they've been looking very good.
Stranger things have happened, haven't they?
We'd like stranger things to happen. we wouldn't mind some stranger things to happen. Yeah, but I think it's going to be at the moment it looks like a Sydney home final against Victory for the grand final. But we'll see. There's 2 more weeks in the A-League season left.
Ooh,
2
exciting.
more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Lots
Yeah.
to come.
Exciting.
A lot of
See how that
goals to
video
be
referee
scored.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I do hope it works.
I really hope it works because if that can be implemented in a way that's efficient and quick, that removes all the
Efficient and
howlers.
quick, though, that's the
Oh,
they're
That
pretty
is-
big
yeah.
variables.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I just think if they've got like an earpiece in, if they're not using it like they use the score review in AFL, which takes a while, should be alright.
And the thing is with that, like, rugby and soccer are a little bit more stop-start than
Yeah.
footy.
You can
so,
so
like,
you can
it-
find a bit
yeah,
of time too.
So like you'd feel like the fans would be a bit more patient.
I think
whereas
also
the
it's not a
footy is
bad.
just
It's
like, you know,
in
Yeah.
overall, it's probably not a bad move on the A-League to
I
actually
think
do it because there's only 2 more games for the season left, and also, let's face it, the A-League isn't as consequential a league as most of the European
the
leagues.
EPL, yeah.
So it's not a bad place to try.
It's not
it.
like there's people all around the world going, oh, they shouldn't have this.
Speak for yourself, Dan.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to-
People
if they
all around
do
Melbourne.
The last 2 games,
Wellington.
that'll be really difficult to evaluate for next
It will be
season.
it will be hard to evaluate. I think it's taken a long time because they've done a lot of offline tests and that kind of thing. It's taken them a long time to make it work. I'm not sure if they'll use it for the finals. I'd be fine with them not using it for the finals.
Yeah.
Make sure it works properly. We're just doing offline ones for the finals and then bring it back properly next season.
I'm surprised they weren't doing. They haven't done trials throughout and then tried in pre-season, but
Yeah.
I guess you've
I'm
got
not
to try
sure.
it live.
I
Sometime.
guess. I
Yeah,
guess
like-
also there's that want to be the first league that does it.
Yep, that's fair.
I guess so. That's probably they're trying to push it through. Get it done. It's like when they trialed 4 umpires in the AFL
Yep.
last year during the bye rounds, kind of thing.
Anyway, we're gonna go into another song now. This is Japanese Wallpaper with Cocoon, and you're listening to the Sports Desk on Sin 90.7 FM.
And welcome back to the Sports Desk on Sin 90.7. That was Japanese Wallpaper with Cocoon. And there was once a time when cricket was not all year round, but it's not like that anymore. We get to,
Been all year round for a while now.
well, there was once a time where it wasn't. and-
Before the IPL,
yeah, before the IPL,
Yeah.
before 2020 was
or
a
like
thing.
commercialisation of T20.
And when they're not playing cricket, there is still something to talk about in
Yeah.
Australia. And we have one of those things today where Wisden Cricketers Almanac has announced their 2 leading cricketers for the world in 2016. And an Australian took out the top honour. Who was that? Was Elise Perry.
Very good. There we go. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Well, at least Perry.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
If you're listening, Elise, well done.
Yeah,
Which-
I'm sure she is.
Yeah.
Which
of
I'm sure
course.
you are. Just call us.
Yeah,
Sin Sports Best. Call us up. We'll have you on air.
We'll have a
But-
chat.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can fit you in.
Elise Perry. And who? We've got a busy show. And who was the male winner, fellas?
Virat Kohli.
I'll give him a clap.
Yeah, I'll give him a clap.
We'll give him a clap.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty good year. I mean,
He's-
despite what we say about him.
Yeah.
What does he average? He averaged 75 in Test. What was it? 92 in one days and 106 in T20s.
106.
How do you
Average
average
106 in a
In
T20.
T20.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's just hitting not outs, but
Yeah,
Oh,
of
still.
course.
Yeah.
But still, that's pretty incredible.
yeah, like you can't go past that. And I mean, look,
Captain.
let's be honest, I don't like him as much as the next guy, but he was deserving
No,
of
yeah.
2016. He hit it 235, I think.
Yeah, in the 4th Test against England. And
Yeah.
captained them to all three
I think he
format
hit a
series
few.
wins.
Did he hit a few double tons?
Hit a couple
Yeah,
of double
yeah,
yeah,
tons,
a couple, yeah, two.
I mean,
And and won all 3 formats against England that
Yep.
series where where India dominated England.
Yep.
Mm.
That
I mean-
series won 4-0. I'm pretty sure.
Do you know Elise Perry's stats for the year, Luce?
I do. So the girls don't play tests, but she had 24 innings in I think 1 days, and she made 1,388 runs
Jeez.
over 24
that's
innings
a fair click.
at an average of 92.53.
that's
I can
pretty
relate.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
And there was a period.
9.2,
There was a
might
period
be.
she had
Yeah.
nine innings in a row where she made over 50.
9 innings in a row over. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
That's
So-
not bad.
I
Like,
remember when
In
Chris
ODIs
Hodge-
as well.
yeah.
mate.
I reckon she can play.
And Chris-
what's
yeah.
what's
Hold it
a
back.
pass score for women's cricket is a little bit lower than the
Than
men's, isn't
men's,
it?
yeah,
in a
about
one day, yeah.
270 or so.
Yeah,
So
270s.
that's
Yeah.
that's even.
That's
That's
yeah.
even more
But the
impressive.
thing that's
yeah,
most
incredible.
interesting about Elise Perry is that when she was selected to play for Australia first, when she was like 20, so this was 6 years ago. Oh wait, it says when she made a debut, I think it was like 2010. She was only elevated to the top 5, like batting, in 2013. So she has always been a bowler, and only recently has stepped up as
Done
an
a bit of a
all-rounder.
Steve Smith.
Yeah,
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 done
well,
a
how
bit of
many
Steve
did you
Smith.
take? Like,
And she
make wickets
also-
in 16. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's in T20 she averaged 37.75
with the ball.
with the ball,
Yep.
and took 10 wickets in T20s and 20 wickets at 24.40.
That's a
24.4.
that's a click.
Yeah.
For an all-rounder, especially.
Yeah,
Well,
in one
and she
day.
also is pretty good at soccer as well.
Yeah, she
Did she
played.
play for the Matildas?
She
Yeah.
played for the Matildas. Yeah.
So-
she's still like
true
playing a
all-rounder.
bit, or?
I think she's.
I think she made the
she's gone
choice.
over to cricket.
Yeah, she's just cricket now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty impressive effort. Though.
Oh,
But going back to that though, you said that the women don't play tests.
they
Would
do.
you like to see the women play
Oh no,
tests?
they play.
They play
Ashes.
one
They
test.
play-
only in
like
the
for
Ashes.
Ashes, yeah.
Only in the Ashes
Yeah.
is the
what
only
are
one.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, would you
Yeah.
like to see women playing tests? At some
Yeah,
point?
I would love it. Like, I think that's probably like the next step
Yep.
for women's cricket. I think because Meg Lanning could easily bat out 4 days.
Yeah.
Let's
Just in a row.
Yeah.
just in a no, legitimately could probably bat out 4 days in a row. And like, I think it's like something that like the girls would probably crave. Like,
Yeah.
you'd want to have that experience. 'Cause it's such a different game, and I'm sure you watch. Women watch tests and
Yeah.
they enjoy tests.
And they see
it's-
with the Ashes, like obviously they's just the biggest stage playing tests, and they
Yeah.
have the is it there what the 2 tests, 3
I think
One day
is it
3
like one
days.
test?
it's 1 4-day,
Yeah.
3 1-dayers,
and
and
then
2 3 2020s,
I think
or
it's
4
three.
1-days
I think
and 3
that's only
2020s or
going to
something.
build. I mean, and
Yeah.
like might even play like tests in India or
I
whatnot.
would think that playing against the Indian women would probably be
Yep.
more likely to get a test match in there.
Yep.
'cause-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely room. With sort of the tours that they're doing, there's definitely more room for them to play tests. Because they are there usually for a long period of time, playing a lot of one days as well and a lot of T20s.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you would think you could drop one of those games in favour of playing even just one test. Because
Even just incorporating
yeah.
one test a series would be
Yeah, I think so,
beneficial.
yeah.
I think.
yeah, because it's not like the men's where it's like they have a test series, they have a one-day series, and they have a
Yeah.
T20 series. Like the women's series is that they're all sort of
Count, don't they?
combined
Yeah.
together. So if it would probably become a thing soon where it's like a standard women's cricket series would be 1 4-dayer,
Three.
3 1-days and like two
Two
2020s. So it's like 5 games, is that 6 games and like that's the series.
And I think people would watch
Yeah.
as well if you properly expose it. I'm sure people
Yeah.
would watch. We
Yeah.
said that about the AFLW that if you
Yeah,
properly
exactly.
expose women's Test cricket and have it on like Channel 9.
I don't think
Or
I don't think it'd be as popular as
women-
AFLW.
Yeah,
though, that's for sure, but-
obviously the
because
longer
Test cricket
appeal.
is
Yeah.
sort of almost
It's a bit of an investment, but
dying
you get a lot of people that would just kind of
Yeah.
watch for half an hour, just even
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
intrigue or anything.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's a
chuck it
that's-
on go and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
exactly. Like
that's-
the sort of like the
that's for
netball,
a
having
starter.
netballs on gym and stuff
Mm.
like that.
Yeah.
get it
I think
started.
that's as much of a start as you need, isn't it?
Yeah, and they even say it like in this article on the Cricket Australia website about Terry's sort of year that she's had. Like they even say, and it's like we also have to acknowledge that the girls don't play tests, which is why it sounds like she hasn't made as many runs or whatever because
Yeah.
they're not given the opportunity to make as many as the men. And also this year is only the 3rd year that they've awarded a Women's Cricketer of the Year.
Mm.
So she joins Meg Lanning,
Yeah.
which is probably a no-brainer, and New Zealand skipper Susie Bates. So they're the only 3 women who have won this
Have
award.
they had it for Australia for a while for like Alan Border? Like they have the Alan Border medal
and the
They've
Belinda
had
Clark.
Belinda Clark, yeah. They have they had that for a little while
They've
or
had-
more than 3 years?
More than
surely?
3 years. They've had that for a while. I'm not sure how long it is, but yeah, they have been honouring the best. They do
Yeah.
have like best T20, best one day, and then best overall. I think like the men, the
Mm.
women's awards, and I'm trying to think. They have a rising star award as well. So definitely like cricket has copped a bit of flack the last few weeks over like AFLW. I think a lot of women's sports has, but I think it's important to acknowledge the work that cricket has been doing for women.
And I mean, I think Elise Perry really proves that, there are a lot of women who are talented at a couple of sports and they're starting to choose one over the other. Like, do you think that's going to, Lucy, you probably know best, do you think that's going to really impact people in AFLW and Big Bash, etc.? There's been a lot of code hoppers and even the W League as well. Do you think that what they're going to have to start choosing one sport or another, or do you think the codes are going to do more to try and keep them in?
It's really hard at the moment because you have a lot of girls who sort of are playing both. So it's hard to say whether like that will change. It'll be really hard for them if they ever have to make the choice between the two. Like I can't imagine being asked like Natalie Plain, Kirsty Lamb, Emma Carney, and Jess Cameron all play cricket. Jess Cameron played cricket for Australia. They've all played in the AFLW. Then we interviewed Gemma McCormick, who plays for W League. Brianna Davey played W League, played for Matildas. Erin Phillips in basketball. Jess Bibby in basketball. All of those girls playing both. But I can't imagine being asked to choose between the two. But I think what's going to change is it's not that you're not going to have the choice, but from a young age, you're going to play a sport and you're just going to keep with that sport
There'll
because
be the pathways.
there'll be the
Because-
pathways and there'll be the opportunity and you'll probably be being offered more and things
I
like
think
that.
also with the now that women's sports becoming more professional as
Yeah.
well, I think they'll not have to, but they'll probably need to pick a sport.
Commit,
And
yeah.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
commitment will need to be there because it'll become more of a year-round thing,
Yeah.
and more of a full-time thing.
And because, like, TAC Cup has started with, like, the girls and things
Yeah.
like that. So if you're playing TAC from, like, when does that start? When you're, like, 16 or something?
Yeah.
16.
So if you're playing that 16 until, like, you go into the VFL and then you might get drafted. Like, you're not going to play another sport.
You won't
No.
have time.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when, when the W League gets their stuff together and they start offering the girls more, if you're going through those pathways, you're not going to choose another
Yep.
sport. Same with netball, because netball flies under the radar so much, but they pay their girls, like,
Yeah, netball's
Yeah,
good
really
pay.
well.
base
Netball's
wage
really
is
good
like
pay, yeah.
$70,000 a year, which is...
And when you're earning that, you don't need to do
yeah,
another
exactly. You
job.
don't need another job. So I
Not
think,
unless you want more money.
yeah, unless you want more.
It's a good
yeah.
life when you're earning that much money.
Oh, that's a dream.
You can only dream.
Yeah.
So I think it's a case of they're in a tricky situation at the moment because they also needed to find the talent. So you needed to expand the talent pool by going to other sports. But yeah, I think in 5 years that'll change, especially when you get these girls that are playing TAC come
Yeah,
through
definitely.
into
But I
the
think
AFLW.
like every other discussion we've had about women's sport, it's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
That girls
exactly.
now have to actually pick a sport
Yep.
because
Yeah.
there's too much choice.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and like it's been said by so many of them now. It's like it's just so good that now there will never not be women playing sport. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And there will never not be women in the media playing sport, or there will never not be women in the media talking about women playing sport.
Yeah.
And there will not be women in clubs. There will never be women on the board at sporting clubs. So
Yeah.
it's a massive change, and we are living through history. So
I
it's
think
a very
so.
exciting time to be alive.
Yeah.
And also, more sport means we can watch more sport.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I always think. And like
Everyone
people
wins.
who complain about it, it's like, dudes, you got like 8 more weeks of AFL to watch. Like, come on, get excited about it. There's more BBL to watch. There's more soccer to watch.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But also, and we'll just go back quickly to the Wisden cricketers because they also, apart from naming the cricket of the year, they also named like their 5 cricketers of the year.
Oh yeah.
So we've had Ben Duckett, who is an English cricketer who plays in the county cricket. Chris Wokes, he's another English lad. He plays in the Test team. He's had a pretty good season.
Yeah, he's taking a couple of
Test.
flyers.
Chris Woke and Toby Roland Jones. He's another county player, and they're joined by Mishbah Al Haq, who actually said he was going to retire after the
Yeah.
upcoming series against the West Indies. He's 42 years old,
Yeah,
so
he's probably
pretty
cheap,
old.
let's be
he's
honest.
deserved a few beers. And Yunus Khan, who is also 40, so they've got a pretty old. There's a couple of older lads making it in there, but there's some pretty remarkable stats in here, including Ben Duckett, who made 2,700 runs this
Whoa.
county season. So he just needs to
I
relax.
wouldn't have made like 270 runs.
I
in
don't
my
think
life.
I don't think I've made 2 runs in my career. Roland Jones picked up a hat trick this season, and Yunus Khan made a 218 in the final test against England. So England love having blokes score double hundreds against them.
Yeah. Obviously.
And Mishbah probably got in there just because he did push-ups as a celebration when they beat England. But we're going to go to a song now, aren't we, Benno?
Yeah, we're going to crack into another song. This is Cub Sport with Come On Mess Me Up, and you're listening to the Sports Desk on SYN 90.7 FM.
That was Cub Sport with Come On and Mess Me Up, and you are listening to the Sports Desk on SYN 90.7. And in a more sort of unusual story from the week, unusual only because it's never really been done before, but Cooper Cronk from the NRL has
From the
decided
Storm.
to move from Melbourne Storm up to Sydney to support his wife's career. Which
What a good bloke.
I know,
What a great
which
bloke.
makes me really, really happy. And Nick Del Santo came out in the week and said that the AFL wasn't ready for that because everyone in the AFL is a bit immature.
Jeez.
Cop that.
Actually, that's
And do you think
that's
the
a bad point,
NRL
though.
is
Yeah.
setting the standard for maturity? That's
I know, that's...
that is
It's
It's come a long
questionable.
ways. It's a weird... But
It's really weird.
And
been
it is, and his
really
wife
w-
is Tara Rushton as well, who
yeah.
you can
Football
say fair
journalist
enough.
on Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But it's
No
been really well
comment.
received. It's been really well
Good to
received
see
in the NRL community as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
No one's really come out and had a go, and they've all said, yeah, no, fair enough.
yeah, fair enough.
I would
But
argue
it would
with
be
the star
interesting to
pile,
see if
though.
it wasn't like an attractive, like, journalist
And
who
it
was
was-
doing it for. If it was just for his wife, generally, who like,
She
it,
just got a
it may
job-
be a little bit different. I don't know.
She just
like-
got a
I
job
don't-
working in Sydney or
No,
something like that.
I don't even think that. I think if it wasn't Cooper Cronk, who's renowned as like a nice bloke.
Yeah.
He's
If
a
it- if it
one
was
club
just-
bloke, isn't he?
Yeah,
been
he's a
with the
one
Storm
club.
for
He's-
forever and a day.
So it's like fair enough. But if it was just like some young upstart, everyone would be like, you haven't paid your dues. Like,
yeah.
You're throwing it away.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing, yeah.
And another.
Oh, throwing it away for a woman. That's what it would be like if it was like a rookie or something. But Nick Del Santo's point was that Cooper Cronk has come out, obviously, it's like the start of the NRL
Yeah.
season, isn't it? He's come out at the start of the
Yeah.
season to say that he's going to leave Melbourne Storm at the end of the
Oh
season.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick Del
yeah,
Santo was
definitely.
saying the AFL is too immature for that, in that everyone would be like, oh, like, why would you play for the club if you're going to leave at the end of the season?
This is
and
sort of
all
like
that-
Gary
yeah.
Ablett and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, we sort of got to move. We've got free agency. We've got to move a little bit towards that. Not
The NRL
quite to
actually,
the NBA
yeah.
to the NBA standard where
No,
you're like,
I
go on, you know what, stuff this, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh, to be
I
fair, a
think
few
the
players do
NRL
that.
actually is pretty good in that, like, they they announce fairly early that they're going to leave the
Yeah.
club, and then they just go, I'm going to play for you for the rest of the
You
season.
have like a Nat Five saying like I'm fully committed for
Yep.
this season. I'll
Yeah,
put
and
off
then-
talks till the end, and then he's gonna leave. Like it just
Oh,
gets the more.
do you
and
reckon
more...
he's leaving?
but like,
Well, Patrick Dangerfield said the same sort of stuff 2 years ago, and then he was.
as
Does
a Freo
Dangerfield
fan,
had somewhere to
yeah.
go?
But as a
But
Freo
Freo,
fan, would
he
you prefer like
could
just
go
to be knowing
anywhere.
where he's
Yeah,
going?
true. If
Yeah.
you're a Freo fan, would you like Kramer? What's his name?
Wait,
Hit
you
up
were
the
going to say
text line.
Kramer?
Let us know.
I was going to say Kramer.
Kramer.
What's his name?
No, no,
Cooper.
no. Oh,
So who's Kramer? There's Kramer or Cramey or someone.
Kramer's
who's
from
been in the news.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, isn't
No, there's been someone
Too
to
much
me.
TV,
There's been someone
Liz.
in
It's the
sports
summer
media
of
this week
George.
with the name Cramey or
Yeah,
something.
I think I have it.
Stuart Kramery?
No. I think I heard
Nick
the name.
Cramey? Oh, that's Kyrgios, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, but so Cooper Cronk, like if you were a Storm fan, you'd probably be like, oh, we've got one season left with him.
Yep.
Like that's nice. So if you were, that's nice. So if you were like, I
That's
love
not
it.
nice.
Yeah. So if you went for Fremantle, probably good to ask Liam, who's on Mondays. He goes for Fremantle.
Poor
If
guy.
you were a Nat, yeah.
One of the only, or in
If-
Melbourne at least.
If you were a Fremantle fan, would you want Nat 5 to stand up and say, this
Yeah.
is my last season at Fremantle?
I reckon it'd probably be good because it just end everything. You just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
right, done.
Yeah.
Right, no worries. That happened
And
in
it would
soccer,
stop
except
all,
that,
all
yeah,
the questions and just.
although in soccer it'd go and he'd be off now, and it'd be like you would already be gone.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh well, he's
Well-
gone, kind of thing.
I mean, there's two trains of thought. One is stop speculation, but the other one is every time he has a bad game, or his mind's in another state,
They
or
know.
this,
And it
that.
gets so boring. We have to
Yeah.
deal with it for like
Yeah.
20 more
Fox
weeks.
Sports lap it up though. I
Oh,
tell you.
they love it.
But you can still hire me, guys. Don't worry, I'm not dissing you.
Yeah. If Fox Sports are looking for a journalist, me and Dan and
And
me
Lucy
too.
and PR.
Lucy's going to get a
first-
job
Oh,
anyway.
no, I'm actually at Carlton now. I do their
Rupert,
banners.
if you're listening,
I do
their banners. But also in
He's
another,
been digging. Sam has been digging through social media this week, and he's found something very.
and we
nice.
found something very interesting. Nick Kyrgios, who we love at the sports desk,
Yeah.
by the
He
way,
didn't criticise
has
at all.
decided to sell his first ever car. My first ever car was a Hyundai Getz. Your first ever car was a Toyota Corolla, wasn't it, Dan?
No, it was a Mitsubishi Lancer.
A
from
Mitsubishi Lancer. What was
2002.
your first ever car, Benno?
Well, I
Oh, he
still
doesn't
don't-
have a car.
I actually do have a car.
Oh.
I have a car. I've got a Mitsubishi AXX waiting for me when I get my license.
and
There we
I
go.
don't have a car because
And-
I don't have my license.
So we are pretty well informed to tell you about first cars, and Kyrgios has decided to sell his M3, his BMW M3. Has been digging into a couple of blokes on social media, telling him how much he earns, saying thanks, Dad, for a couple of blokes.
Well, people have been having to go at him and saying like, been looking for a car around the $6,000 range, and he replied,
You won't get an M3 for
I'll
6K.
send you the petrol tank lid, which is he's got him.
So he's selling his F80 M3 BMW. It's twin turbo, 6-cylinder. Anyone that wants to spend 100k on a car,
Another
go for an
zinger
M3.
that he's got with some bloke. He said someone needs money for the clay season's travel, and Kyrgios has gone, look, the semis in Miami paid $280,000 US. Probably not, mate.
Yeah.
I reckon that's probably a fair
Yeah,
call.
it's a fair crackback.
Just before we head off as well, well done Lucy Watkin for kicking goal of the week in the what's the competition?
the
It's the
NFL.
NFLW.
Yeah,
Div
so she's-
2.
NFLW
She's
did.
just kicked a nice little
Snag for the
snap
boundary
from the
line. Check side.
Yeah,
Eddie
was it
Betts?
a check side or
Was
was
it
it
a
just
check
a
side?
regulation snap?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, was it just a snap?
Either
or
way-
was it like this
Either
one?
way, Sin
It was a
listeners,
snap.
It was a
Yeah.
snap.
it was good.
Very good. It
Very
was.
good.
If you want to see, just go on the Northern Football League Facebook page, and there's a highlights
I
package.
shouldn't have encouraged.
And I'm number one. So.
Oh no!
You're-
What if
She
we
kicked
are
one
losing?
goal,
Watch
6
out.
as well. She
One
missed a
goal,
couple, an
six.
absolute sodas. So
I was
there you
about
go.
to say, just don't mention
There's
the
the
other
full
6
story.
points that I
Yeah.
kicked. It's fine.
Six.
And
Well, if you add them up, 2 goals.
Two goals,
Yeah, there
yeah,
you
that's
go.
what you want.
Couple
2
of
goals
goals,
straight,
that's
that's what you want. And quickly in the Masters, which started overnight, Dustin Johnson, the world number 1 in golf, fell down some stairs and pulled out of the tournament.
Oh no.
Because he fell down some stairs and then realised he couldn't tee off. A guy called Charlie Hoffman leads his 6 under after 16 when I wrote this up. And of the Aussies, Mark Leishman's even, Pampling's +2, Jason Day's +2, Scott, who won in 2013, he's
Two over
+3.
par, I think.
+2. You can say +2.
Oh, I reckon it's better. If you say
2 over.
Anyway,
I reckon.
2 over,
VGA.
yeah.
Adam Scott, who won in
That's
2013,
an golfer.
is 3 over par.
Oh,
And
no.
Curtis Luck is not having such a lucky day. He's 5 over.
Oh no.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
See me
yeah,
on
go for
Saturday at the Carlton Banners.
Yep. Well, that was all for the Sports Desk today. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. for the last week of season 1. So you will only have the Dream Team for one more week.
Mm.
But then,
Supercoach.
then we
That's
come
right, yeah,
back
you
with
got
a
Supercoach.
fresh batch of new talent and I'll still be around. So, at least the favourite will still be here. It's cool.
Name drop.
But thank you so much for listening. Up next is Schools on Air.
Stay lit, fam.
Thank you.
I think you.